Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Now, obviously, this isn't a political channel in any way, shape, or form. We mostly cover pop culture because I believe the only way to actually do a significant amount of generational change is to fix the culture first before everything else will actually end up flowing downstream from that. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, this is something that is obviously talked about very much in a big time of year. And although I do believe that no one should listen to any kind of Hollywood celebrity in any way, shape, or form as to what their opinion is on politics, because as we know, they are just adult pretenders, boys and girls. They are people out there that literally get filled with other people's ideas and heads, and they go out there and perform for us on the big screen, on movies, on televisions, or in theaters out there and all around in general. It's one of them situations where I don't value their opinion very highly, but it's been very obvious for a very, very long time exactly where Hollywood's biased is. And when at the end of the day, it comes down to anybody steps a single toe out of line, there is always immediate backlash and calls for all of the kind of worst things out there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we've got here today, because we are going to defend, of all people, the Shazam star Zachary Levi, because the moron that for some reason has become Hollywood's face for Star Trek, Wil Wheaton, decided to open his big fat mouth and say something stupid as per usual. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting this article from Bounding into Comics, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what was so horrible and so offensive that Zachary Levi said that Wil Wheaton had to open his big fat mouth and put his own 2 cents in from the peanut gallery that nobody should care about, nor in any way recognize as an actual authority on anything with any kind of fan base whatsoever, because I have no idea how Wil Wheaton ended up becoming Hollywood's face of Star Trek, but I'd imagine it's probably because he doesn't mind the casting couch too much. So we're going to check out this article from Bounding into Comics, getting all of the juicy details, but before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you even remember Wil Wheaton all that much from Star Trek? I had to actually look it up. He's in it a lot more than what I actually thought in Next Generation. He's actually in about 40% of the series. Do you think he's just an absolute blubbering moron out there that does whatever the spirit of the age is? Or do you think Zachary Levi is absolutely a threat to the nerd community out there, boys and girls, and he should be ostracized from the infamdom entirely? Let us know what you think about all of that in the comment section down below. So Star Trek alum Wil Wheaton takes aim at Shazam star Zachary Levi over his endorsement of Donald Trump. What a disappointment. What a distress. How disgusting. Oh, somebody in your same career field that I don't know if you've actually even worked for disagrees with you politically. I know. The horror, the horror. It just literally breaks their brains when anybody disagrees with them. So from Jacob Smith over at Bounding into Comics, Shazam duology star Zachary Levi drew the ire of Hollywood community on Saturday night when he appeared alongside former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and former Representative Tulsi Gabbard at Donald Trump campaign rally in Michigan. Mind you, in case for some reason you didn't know, Kennedy and Tulsi are former Democrats. Boys and girls, are former Democrats. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Taking the stage at that night to moderate a panel between the two politicians, the star of Warner Brothers Shazam and Shazam Fury of the Gods stunned his peers in Hollywood by professing the meeting by publicly endorsing Trump rather than the Democratic candidate and Hollywood favorite Kamala Harris. Oh, the horror. Now, obviously, if you want to watch this entire video, you can go out there and see it all from the horse's mouth. But basically, it comes down to a very simple situation. The guy was raised a Christian conservative in a very kind of conservative household. He was very much on the side of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. because he thought RFK was coming out and saying a lot of the kind of things that need to be said, calling out the government for a lot of the things that they'd done over the past few years that violated our rights and all kinds of other horrible things that they did to us. And he thought this was a great moment. And now, so because Tulsi Gabbard, because we know there's only 2 candidates, right? It's a binary situation at this point. It's either Trump or Kamala. And he believes that, especially after RFK and Tulsi Gabbard both have now endorsed Trump and now both stand alongside Trump and are campaigning for Trump, that this makes sense to him as well. And you know what? It's a fair take. It's his opinion, and that's at the end of the day what it comes down to. And guess what? This is why people used to not tell people who they voted for. For one, it wasn't any of your damn business, but not discussing politics and religion out there in public has got us into this exact same situation here. So I'm glad to see more of these people coming out and making it known where they stand on things, because trust me, we've known where the majority of Hollywood has stood for a very long time, and they have silenced, criticized, and tried to shout down anybody that disagreed with their spirit of the age or any of their other kind of nonsense agenda that they've been pushing out of Hollywood for decades. So, of course, it goes over all of that kind of stuff, talks about how he started off with RFK and now everything else, how he's been a big outspoken guy against pharma and everything else, and how why a lot of that stuff lines up with RFK and the fact that Trump basically wants to put RFK as administration, all this other kind of stuff. It works out very, very well for us. So, following Levi's speech, here's the backlash, boys and girls, quote unquote. It sucks when you can't really cancel people over this kind of stuff anymore. It's almost like Goblin King, you have no power over me. Weird, weird, weird. Social media exploded with reactions to the news, with some cheering on the actor for his bravery, hear, hear, and others condemning him for daring to endorse a Republican, much less Trump. Oh, the horror, the horror. The guy who has just openly admitted to doing things that Hollywood secretly does far worse every single day. I don't know, go check out any of them documentaries on child Hollywood stars if you really think Hollywood has any moral superiority over Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Among the latter was none other than Star Trek Next Generation actor Wil Wheaton, who just the other day, after the rally, took to his personal Facebook page. Like, what are you, a boomer? Who's still on Facebook at this point? To share his newfound feelings of disgust towards Levi. Something I love about our nerd community is how welcoming and diverse we are, unless you disagree with the cult think. We're a safe place for everyone who has ever been othered, except for all the people that your mob has tried to cancel over the last couple of decades for disagreeing with the mainstream groupthink. We're a safe place for vulnerable people to come together and safely love all the wonderful nerdy stuff we love. Oh, really? Notice how they keep putting that safety thing in there, right? With that in mind, I think it's pretty important for anyone who supports Nerd HQ to know who and what they are supporting. What a disappointment. What a disgrace. How disgusting. Oh, the horror. Zachary Levi decided to stand up and say he was raised in a Christian conservative family, and he feels that Michelle Obama, oops, Freudian slip, Kamala Harris simply doesn't align with any of those kind of values. And concerning her rise to power and what she supports politically, I don't think any honest Christian who's actually read the Bible can disagree with that in any way, shape, or form, that there's no way you could vote for any monster like that that supports the things that she does. So, yeah, kind of really don't feel he's in a moral situation to do anything other than that, but that's just this humble common nerd's opinion. Join us on the Bible study for Sundays at 2 p.m., boys and girls. Returning to his post a few hours later, Wheaton would edit his initial words to add, gently pointing out anyone who is not aware of it, the paradox of tolerance. Oh, the paradox of tolerance. I thought tolerance just meant you decided to deal with people and try to get along as best you can with people who disagree with you. But I guess that's not how it works inside of the cult, because it's a cult. It's not actually about tolerance or safe spaces or any of that things. It's about a group think in an echo chamber. And then, boy, isn't it funny how they always accuse us of what they're doing. A place is not safe if you can't keep out the people who would make it unsafe. Oh, no. You might feel uncomfortable. This includes non-physical safety. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Words hurt, boys and girls. Oh, I'm so offended. I'm so offended. Oh, that bigot. Oh, that istophobe. His words hurt me because I don't know how to turn off the internet and get off of social media and just stop reading it. No, I'm such an addict that you have to protect me from my own addiction because I can't handle what other people say on the internet because they disagree with me. No, I'm perfect. I'm wonderful. Everything about me is right. My opinions are perfect and spot on. You can't possibly disagree with it. How could you? You must be a monster. Ah! That's essentially what happens inside of every one of these people's heads out there. Every time they find out that somebody who might be a colleague of them, or maybe even somebody that, I don't know, is just walking down the street, or who knows, the horror, someone they had a respected opinion of, all of a sudden disagrees with the cult. You step one toe out of line, and they will do everything they can to excommunicate you from the cult. Look what happened to J.K. Rowling. She's the epitome of everything they want. A self-made billionaire woman who will be remembered on the scale of Tolkien for generations to come. Not because she's as good as Tolkien, because it had that much of a cultural impact and she's been that much of a success. Who the fuck is going to remember Will Wheaton in a couple of decades or after he's been removed from this mortal coil? Like, seriously. And fundamental human rights are not a matter of opinion. You don't have a human right to the labor of another person. So all of your LGBTQ trans rights nonsense, like trying to force people to do things to comply with your ideology, i.e. violate, I don't know, their oath of medicine or maybe even their own conscience by trying to bake you a cake. You don't have the right to my fucking labor. I don't fucking care where you stick your genitalia. You do not have the right to other people's labor. That is slavery. If you didn't understand the basic definition. And that's what the cult wants. They want it to be okay to enslave you to do their will. That's why they do the backlash. That's why Zachary Levi is getting attacked, because he was supposedly one of them who has now stepped a toe out of line. And it's broken poor little Will Wheaton's brain. He just can't handle it. And he wants you to let you know that his echo chamber will always be an echo chamber for you, and you will never, ever have to worry about hearing a single opinion that disagrees with you in any way, shape, or form. Because that's what the cults do. And Will Wheaton is just the poster child for the cult. You know, Zachary Levi has even said in the past that he disagrees with how vulgar and callous Trump is. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't disparage the people that decided to support him anyway. That's why I'm out here making a video defending Zachary Levi. Because Will Wheaton wants to exonerate all of his weirdo psychopaths and all of their opinions out there by changing the culture. And he wants to excommunicate anyone out there who disagrees with them. He wants you purged from the nerd community. He wants you purged from the geek community. He wants you purged from society. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. At the end of the day, that's what this is. It's the exact same tactics that we saw in the color revolution, that we saw in Russia, that we've seen now here in the United States. History doesn't just repeat itself, it also rhymes. First, it's just, maybe you should come around to our way of thinking. And then it's a baseball bat through your window, like some mob tactic. And then if that doesn't work, well, then they come after you. They try to ruin your business. They try to shut you down. They try to get your job removed. And if they ended up getting their way, which thank the Lord they're not, because the culture is finally swinging back, it would be nudge, shove, shoot. Fortunately enough, we are winning. God is still on his throne in heaven. 2 + 2 still equals 4. Up is still up and down is still down. And Will Wheaton is still just a bitch that no one should listen to. Zachary Levi, you've got a pair. Because this is the exact same kind of backlash you knew you were going to get. So let's make sure you keep a hold of that pair that you have all of a sudden grown. Keep your spine, stand up, and do not bow down to this cult. Because trust me, there are far more many of us than there ever was of them. And now the wind is with us. The sails are at our back and we are winning. The culture is shifting and no one will remember Will Wheaton in a century.